Have you ever devoted your life to something? And through that devotion, what did you learn? What did you feel? Hello everyone. In the previous video, I spoke about the Book of Five Rings by Musashi Miyamoto and uncovered the life philosophy hidden within its pages, a wisdom that still speaks to us today. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to watch that first. Today's theme is the state Musashi reached after mastering the way of the sword. Banri Ikku recorded the scroll of emptiness, the state of nothingness. This phrase is well known even in modern times. If you search online, you often find it explained as keep making constant effort towards your goal. Perhaps this interpretation comes from the fact that Musashi became famous through a lifetime of discipline in swordsmanship. But those who have truly devoted themselves to something, who have spent years mastering a path and read the Book of Five Rings, will understand Musashi's words cannot be reduced to such a simple, surface level meaning. That true meaning is this: Banri Ikku. No matter how far you go, the same sky remains above you. In other words, the world is vast, knowledge is infinite, yet whatever path you pursue its depth, its essence converges into one truth. That truth is the emptiness. Here lies a crucial question. What is this emptiness that all paths lead to? What is its essence, its truth? I have devoted over 10 years to bodybuilding, and the path I walked mirrors Musashi's life in astonishing ways. From this training, from these years of struggle and growth, I'll share with you the lessons I learned and the state of Banri Ikku I have reached. It all began when I was 19, with my first heartbreak, the most devastating experience of my life. In that instant, my confidence and pride shattered into pieces, and I was forced to face the weakest, most miserable version of myself. Until then, I'd never known defeat. Not in sports, not in studies, not even in love. But the moment I met it head on for the first time, I felt as though I was sinking into the dark sea, and even now, the memory remains vivid. I thought to myself, I will not remain weak, pathetic, and broken. I chose to take that crushing frustration and hurl it into the fire of training. It was never about becoming attractive, nor about providing myself to the girl who left me. It was about one thing only: to change who I was. Confronted with heartbreak and weakness, I did not turn away. I faced them, embraced them, and began walking a path toward a new version of myself. From the day forward, I trained every day, with total focus. Even motivation had failed me before. When it hurt, when it was painful, I recalled the moment of heartbreak, frustration, anger at my weakness. These became an unshaken fuel for every moment of my body. After a year, I had gained 10 kilograms. My body transformed beyond recognition. I started working at a gym and training amidst others who were stronger, heavier, more capable. Seeing them, I could not afford to fall behind, so I threw myself into training harder than ever. I learned from gym trainers, absorbed theories, and I researched the routines of famous athletes and replicated them. By years 3 to 5, my body grew even more. Compared to when I started, I had gained over 30 kilograms. I placed training above everything, sacrificing my university life, devoting myself entirely to the craft of bodybuilding. I experimented with every supplement. I studied nutrition and mastered the science of sleep. Every part of life, training, eating, sleeping, became a devotion to self-transformation. During this period, two major changes occurred. First, I developed my own approach. Until then, I followed methods taught by others or popular routines practiced by everyone else. Through training, I realized that even correct methods did not always suit me. and that even ineffective methods sometimes worked wonders for me. This applied to everything: training, methods, form, diets, supplements. I tested everything on my own body and built my own original methods, my own personal routines. This accelerated my growth. My strengths increased relentlessly. Bench presses, squats, and deadlifts reaching new heights. Second, my focus shifted to self-growth. Previously, I had competed in my mind with other trainees at the gym, or those I saw online. I wanted to win, not lose. But now, I no longer compare myself to others. I enjoy the pure joy of improving myself. The goal of bodybuilding, which had begun as a way to overcome my weak, miserable self, had evolved into the joy of effort rewarded, the trial and error rewarded, the joy of upgrading myself day by day. Negative motivation had transformed into positive motivation. A new change arrived in the 6th year. After graduating from graduate school and starting work, I continued training relentlessly. But I also began contemplating how to live my life going forward. Through work, I discovered new skills to learn, and soon I realized I had come to love learning itself. Once I hated studying, but through training, I had learned the taste of growth. No longer driven by obligations or judgment of others, I studied simply for the thrill of knowing, for the joy of becoming more. Bodybuilding taught me much. Real results take time, yet every effort inevitably yields results, and that the process itself is the greatest treasure. This lesson extended beyond the gym. I threw myself into languages, politics, economics, psychology, neuroscience, and reading, and I realized that the knowledge gained in one field connected not only to bodybuilding, but to work, life, and existence itself. Today, I continue bodybuilding now for over 10 years. My body has been refined through knowledge and discipline, yet the obsession with size and strength has faded, replaced by pursuit of health and balance and harmony. And just as much as I dedicate time to the gym, I dedicate time to reading, studying, and self-cultivation. Through this journey, I have forged my own philosophy. That philosophy is... But before I reveal it, let me return to something that I mentioned at the very beginning. How my life mirrors that of Musashi. Let me show you exactly how. At the age of 13, Musashi won his first duel. From the day forward, he became a swordsman who never knew defeat. And yet, he had no master. He lived much of his life in solitude, belonging to no school, no lineage. Everything he attained was forged by his own experience and his own relentless discipline. In the Book of Five Rings, in the Scroll of Earth, he left these words: "In all things, I have no teacher." When we look at the way the book details the basics of swordsmanship, stances, strikes, footwork, reading, we see that Musashi must have mastered these foundations, not by instruction, but by grinding them into his bones, through practice and lived experience. There are 5 traditional stances: upper, middle, lower, right side, and left side. But in his final years, Musashi's ultimate form was no form. A posture loose, almost slouched, like a cat at last, free of all rigidity, yet able to perceive the opponent's intent and respond to any situation. It was a stance of nothingness, the culmination of a lifetime, the passage from form to formlessness. This mirrors my own path in bodybuilding, where I, too, abandoned borrowed routines, forged a method that was mine alone. For Musashi, victory was not simply striking down opponents. He realized that through every path, discipline, art, craft, one polishes not only skill, but life itself. Overcoming your settled self, training is nothing but the endless accumulation. From these words, we see that Musashi understood the true opponent to face the true battle to fight was always the self. This reflects my own transformation from comparing myself to others to focusing solely on growth from within. Later in life, Musashi passed beyond battle itself. He painted, he wrote, he curved, he crafted. He had come to see that the essence of the sword was also the essence of art, of creation, of daily living. And though he remained undefeated in duels, he declared, "Through swordsmanship alone, the true principle of the sword cannot be revealed." This, too, mirrors my own path, for through bodybuilding, I discovered not merely strength, but the joy of growth itself. And from there, my learning spilled into many fields beyond the body. In the scroll of emptiness, at the end of his life, Musashi wrote, "Banri Ikku." It cannot be spoken. It must be grasped only through one's own invention, one's own discipline, one's own lived practice. Why did he write these words? I believe any of us walked long upon the lot of discipline, myself included, knows the answer. Now, the Banri Ikku, I have reached a state where all paths converge. The essence of emptiness can be summarized in 3 principles. Number 1. Release from form. In any field, there is generally a correct, scientific, or orthodox way. But humans are all different. There is no holy grail. There is no single answer. Imitating others does not guarantee it will fit you. In bodybuilding, differences in bone structure alone demand different approaches. Some thrive on a low-carb diet, others on a low-fat diet. In learning languages, some advance through speaking, others through listening. In every field, the principle is the same. Stay flexible, listen to the voice of your body and the voice of your heart, and shape a path that is yours alone. Like Musashi's sense of no foam, one must loosen the grip. Observing the whole with a calm perspective is essential. Thus, emptiness means freedom from the prison of form, and the flexibility to grasp the essence as is true for you. Number 2. The state of surpassing oneself. At first, the focus is on contests. How much can I bench? How much can I change my appearance? We compare ourselves to others, rejoice or despair over numbers, benching 100 kilograms or scoring 800 on TOEIC and so on. But over time, the true goal becomes surpassing your yesterday self. Comparison to others and numbers become irrelevant. For any path, the true destination is not victory, but growth. And so, emptiness is this, a posture of continual self-surpassing and a commitment to growth that never ends. 3. Universality across all of life. Through 10 years of bodybuilding, my perspective on life has changed, not just my body. I learned that the power of persistence applies to everything. The moments of hardship are the very moments of growth. Training body and mind sharpens judgment, patience, and self-control. This truth applies to every path. Dedication in one discipline carries over to others. The lesson drawn from that path become fuel to deepen and refine the next. Through discipline, the philosophy you gain becomes universal, and that universality, that is emptiness. Together these 3 truths into one. What is emptiness? It is that which is ever-changing, yet never lost. It is a sense of holding, no stance, ever flexible, free of attachment, expanding without end. In today's video, I try to put into words the emptiness I reached after 10 years of real-life training, but truthfully, this state of mind cannot be fully captured by words alone. The hero's journey may look like an outward adventure into distant worlds, yet in reality, it is an inward descent into the depth of the self, a journey of integration and transformation. In one of my favorite books, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell writes, "The agony of breaking through personal limitations is the agony of spiritual growth. Art, literature, myth, philosophy, even the discipline of aesthetics, all are tools to break through the horizon of one's limits and enter the ever-expanding realm of consciousness. Through that process, one transcends all forms, all symbols, even the gods themselves. This is what mythology calls the cosmic void. Every path, no matter how different, leads into the cosmic void. In other words, all paths converge upon the same sky." Honestly, there is much more I'd like to explore here, but that must wait for another time, another video. Still, it is fascinating, isn't it? That Musashi, the samurai who mastered the way of the sword, and the mythology of the West, should arrive at the same conclusion. There is one more thing I want you to remember. Life-changing opportunities almost never appear in their true form. More often, they disguise themselves as defeat, despair, or failure. For me, it was painful heartbreak at the age of 19. At the time, it felt like the end of my world. Yet without the heartbreak, I would not be who I am today. Life is mysterious. Every trace of faith feels, in hindsight, like foreshadowing from the future. When you devote yourself without giving up, when you refine something with everything you have, there's always something to be gained. It may not be the same emptiness I have reached, and that is exactly as it should be. For your philosophy must be born of your experience. It is yours alone, irreplaceable, and it becomes the unshakable compass that carries you through the storms of life. The moment life is molded by the voices whispering, "You must be this way," or by the chains of rigid expectation, it stiffens, it suffocates, it loses its breath. Loneliness, anxiety, even the solitude that tears a heart apart, and joy, the brief flash of light, all of them are fragments. Together, they curve the very outline of life itself. In a world of 100 lives and 100 colors, there is no single right way to exist. You do not need to be measured by anyone else's scale. It is beautiful to walk forward, even while carrying your wounds, even while pausing in uncertainty. I believe, to keep affirming the path you have chosen, that quiet strength becomes, one day, the proof of hope for the next generation. So tell me, what philosophy have you built for yourself? Please share it in the comments below. Stay unbreakable, stay infinite. Until next time.